Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, big tech fake news, the puppet masters, well, it seems that they are now coming to the end of this pause. Now, Trump, he is continually letting everyone know through his rallies that we have been in a 4-year pause, and the people needed to see how bad the country was going to get. And since people are seeing how bad the country is getting, the movement is hotter than ever, which means Trump, he just let everyone know he is following in the footsteps of Andrew Jackson. This was all part of the plan, and he needed to take a pause so he could put the resident in place to show everyone, look what happens when you cheat in an election. Look what happens when you overthrow the duly elected president. The entire country completely implodes. And this government that installed themselves, they go after we the people. And Trump, he needed to show the entire population this. He couldn't explain it to them. He couldn't say, hey, by the way, just want to let you know these are bad people and they're going to do bad things and they're going to destroy the country. No one will believe it. The only way you were going to believe it was to actually go through it. You had to walk through all of this. And we're not finished yet because Trump, he's continually letting everyone know that this is the final battle. We're going to finish the job right now. Everything that Trump started back in 2016, it has come full circle right now. And now we're at the point, which is the final battle, and we're going to finish because what he needed from the very beginning, and he actually confirms this, he needed the people by his side, the commander in chief, and we, the people, going after the deep state can then destroy the deep state. And that is exactly what is happening. And actually, when you look at what is going on, he actually let everyone know what the entire plan was from the very, very beginning. Because he put out that video that was going to get him elected in 2016, how he was going to destroy the globalists, destroy the deep state players, destroy everything that they set up. But everyone didn't realize what the plan was going to be. Everyone thought he was just going to come in and arrest people, and that would be that. But again, how then can the country understand what has happened here? The country would not understand, and the country would not be able to keep this country the way it was because those same forces would just be able to take the country right over because the people would have never seen the tyrannical government. The people haven't seen the tyrannical government before Trump stepped in. Yes, there were some people that were waking up and people started to realize, but the majority of the people, they could not see the tyrannical government because the deep state players through the fake news and everything else, it was hidden from the public. And most of the public, they didn't take the time to do research and to actually look for it because they had their everyday lives and they were very busy doing that. And the only way to actually show them the tyrannical government was to actually show it to them. And that's exactly what Trump has done. And he needed the 4 years to do this. But now he has the people with him. Now we're heading into the final battle. And he also signaled that he is the commander in chief. Now, we're going to be getting all to this a little bit later. But first, it looks like Sam Bankman-Fried, he was found guilty on all 7 counts. So the crypto con man, Sam Bankman-Fried, he pretty much was found guilty on 7 counts of fraud and conspiracy. The evidence was overwhelming, and the 3 former executives who worked side by side with him testified against him. So he is going to be going to jail. And once again, you can see the deep state players, they went ahead and they sacrificed one of their own. Now, does this mean that he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail? Well, I think what Biden might try to do before he's removed from office, he might pardon him, just like he might pardon his son. Let's see how this plays out because this is going to be very interesting. And this doesn't mean that all these people are going to get off in the end. It just means that right now people are watching a 2-tier justice system. The people are watching all of this play out. That's what people are seeing right now. And it looks like the deep state players, they're going after their own right now. Actually, 1, to distract what's going on, distract everything from Biden right now. Number 2, anyone that goes against the criminal syndicate, well, you are taking out. It's almost like the mafia. You go out there and you criticize the mafia and you talk about the mafia. What do you think the mafia does to you? they take you out. And it looks like they're doing this with Adams right now because, again, he's very, very critical of the illegals coming in. He never said close the border. But again, the criminal syndicate, the Biden administration, doesn't want anyone talking about the border the way he's talking about it. You just have to accept all these people coming in and you keep your mouth shut. And it looks like he didn't do this. So the FBI, they conducted a raid on Brianna Suggs, the chief fundraiser for New York City Mayor Adams. The search warrant revealed an investigation into potential straw donor schemes involving foreign campaign donations. They're saying he might have taken donations from Turkey. And the crimes being probed include theft of federal funds and conspiracy to steal federal funds, wire fraud conspiracy, as well as campaign contributions by foreign nationals and conspiracy to make such contributions. Now, it's very easy for the deep state players to go after one of their own because they already know their crimes. They already know they're dirty. And it's very easy to get them on all of this and actually keep the focus on Mayor Adams instead of Biden. Plus, it sends a message to anyone else that goes up against the criminal syndicate or criticizes the criminal syndicate. And you could see it is now playing out right now. Because remember, there are a lot more illegals coming into this country. There's caravans headed for this country. It's one gigantic invasion. Trump, he put this out on Truth and said the following: massive caravans through Mexico headed our way. Crooked Joe Biden, who's too busy using law enforcement to go after his political opponent, has no idea what to do. We are truly a nation in decline. MAGA 2024. And yes, people are going to see more of these people. Now, remember, the people are watching what's happening out in Israel and Gaza. They understand that there's terrorists all over the place. We had the FBI already warn everyone that something's going to happen. Trump has warned everyone that something might happen, which I do believe it's going to happen. And it looks like the deep state, they are planning for a civil war. They're planning for chaos, not just in this country, but around the world, to try to bring us into World War III. And you could see it's building and building and building. And what's very interesting, to actually have the people see exactly what Biden is doing, Senator Chuck Grassley and Senator John Cornyn, they joined 24 colleagues to introduce legislation to ensure the American people have a full accounting of the number of illegals being released into the United States by the Biden administration. And this is called the Southern Border Transparency Act, which would require the Department of Homeland Security to accurately report how it is handling migrants encountered at the border, along with providing information detailing the migrants' places of origins, including the so-called catch and release program. The legislation comes after a letter last week in which Senator Grassley raised concerns about federal agencies' usage of mobile applications to parole thousands of otherwise inadmissible aliens into the U.S. without proper vetting. And really think about this. The people now understand and they realize that the people coming over the border, they're not properly vetted. They don't know who's in this country. Actually, they do know who's in this country because they're going to use them later on for chaos. But they're not telling the American people who's in this country. That's why when they're testifying, they said, we have no idea. We don't know who these people are. Yes, the FBI, they know who they are. DHS knows who they are because a lot of these individuals are brought in because they're part of an operation. And they're going to carry out the operation in this country. And I do believe this is when people are going to say enough is enough. Is this the final precipice? No, I think World War III, nuclear war, is going to be the final precipice of the people where they say enough is enough. We hit the precipice of destruction. We need to make a major change before everything that we know is completely and utterly destroyed. And remember, going back to the very beginning, going back to 2016, this has been a war against the deep state players. We are at war. It's an information war. This information war is now moving into a physical war. Now, it doesn't mean that we're being invaded by China and Russia and they're bringing troops onto the ground, but Soros and others have already released terrorists and others, criminals, into this country that are going to make everything now go physical compared to before, when it was all information on social media platforms. Now, I do believe it's a mixture right now of information and physical, and I do believe this is going to be the scare event. And yes, this then might move into another area. Could be a cyber attack, which we talked about yesterday, because again, they're already building the narrative for a cyber attack. And I do believe that this is going to happen